The conference room felt like it was closing in on me. I sat frozen as Celeste, my cousin, slid a folder across the polished table toward our investor, Marcus Webb. Her manicured nails tapped the edge as she spoke with practiced concern. I hate doing this, but I have to be honest. Ava has been stealing money from our accounts. My breath caught. Marcus's eyes shifted to me, cold and calculating. These are bank transfers she made to personal accounts, Celeste continued, her voice steady. She's been taking credit for my designs, my late nights, my connections. I didn't want to believe it, but the evidence is right here. I tried to speak, but my voice came out as a whisper. That's not true. Marcus flipped through the papers, his jaw tight. He looked at me like I was a stranger. We can't work with you anymore, Ava. Effective immediately. The room spun. 2 years of work, of sacrifice, of dreaming together, gone in seconds. I looked at Celeste. Her face was calm, almost sympathetic. Why are you doing this to me? I whispered. My name is Ava Reyes, and I just lost everything. I stumbled out of that building like a ghost, my legs barely holding me up. Behind me, through the glass doors, I saw Celeste hugging Marcus. She was crying, playing the victim. My stomach turned. I sat in my car for an hour, staring at nothing. 2 years ago, Celeste and I had been inseparable. We were more than cousins. We were sisters, best friends, partners in everything. The business idea came to us during a family barbecue. We stayed up until 3 in the morning that night, sketching out plans on napkins. We're going to change everything, she had said, her eyes bright with excitement. I believed her. We built the pitch deck together. We stayed up late designing prototypes. We fought for every investor meeting. But now, sitting alone in my car, I realized something. She had planned this. Every smile, every late-night session, every "we're in this together" moment had been a lie. She was like a sister until she wasn't. The next 3 days were hell. My phone wouldn't stop buzzing. Friends, family, even people I barely knew were texting me. What happened? Are you okay? I can't believe you did that to Celeste. Nobody believed me. Not a single person. I tried explaining to my best friend, Maya. She listened quietly, then said, "Maybe you just need to accept responsibility, Ava. This isn't like you." I wanted to scream. My parents called me over for dinner. I thought they would understand. Instead, my mother looked at me with disappointment. "Why would you steal from your own cousin?" she asked softly. "We raised you better than this." My father just shook his head. Even my younger brother avoided eye contact. Celeste had gotten to them first, spinning her story, playing the wounded partner. The worst part came when I checked Instagram. Celeste had posted a heartfelt message about moving forward after betrayal and learning to trust again. The comments were filled with support. For her. I was the villain in everyone's story now. A week later, I saw the announcement. Celeste was relaunching the brand. Our brand. Same name, same logo, same product I had spent months perfecting. But in every photo, every press release, every interview, she presented it as her creation. "I poured my heart and soul into this," she told a blogger. "It's been my baby since day one." I stared at the screen, my hands shaking. The prototype in those photos, I had built that. The packaging design, I had sketched that at 2 in the morning while she slept. Every detail, every innovation, every sleepless night, now credited to her. My phone buzzed. A voicemail from an unknown number. I pressed play, and Celeste's voice filled my ear. It was cold, nothing like the cousin I grew up with. "I warned you not to cross me, Ava. You should have just stayed quiet and let me handle things. This is what happens when you try to compete with me." I listened to it 3 times. Then I saved it. I didn't know why yet, but something told me I would need it later. The family dinner happened 2 weeks after everything fell apart. My aunt insisted on it, said we needed to clear the air. I walked into that house knowing it was a trap, but I went anyway. Celeste was already there, sitting with our grandmother, looking small and fragile. When I entered, she looked up with red-rimmed eyes. "Ava," she said softly, like she was scared of me. I tried to explain what really happened. I brought my laptop, ready to show them the original files, the timestamps, the proof that I had created everything. But before I could even open it, Celeste started crying. "I don't understand why you hate me so much," she sobbed. "We were supposed to be partners. I trusted you with everything." My aunt rushed to comfort her. My uncle looked at me with disgust. "You're jealous," he said. "You've always been jealous of Celeste." "That's not true," I said, but my voice was shaking. "You're being emotional," my mother added. "This is exactly why people can't trust you in business." I looked around the room. Every face was turned against me. Celeste met my eyes for just a second and I saw it. The smirk. Small, barely there, but real. I grabbed my laptop and left. Behind me, I heard Celeste's sobs get louder. I sat in my tiny apartment that night, staring at my laptop. No money. No team. No investors. No one who believed me. Rock bottom felt like an understatement. I wanted to give up. Part of me thought about moving away, starting over somewhere new, forgetting this whole nightmare ever happened. But then I remembered something. Before we formed the official partnership, before we brought Marcus in, I had kept a notebook. My original designs, my first sketches, my initial product concepts. Things I had created before Celeste was even involved. I dug through my closet and found it, dusty and worn. I flipped through the pages, seeing my handwriting, my ideas, my vision. This was mine. All of it. I opened my laptop and typed a new brand name into a domain search. My heart pounded as I hit enter. Available. I stared at that word for a long time. Then I clicked purchase. Celeste thought she had destroyed me. She thought I would just disappear, fade away, let her win. She was wrong. I wasn't building a company this time. I was building an empire. And she would never see it coming. The next 6 months were brutal. I took a job at a tech startup, something boring and stable that paid the bills. But every night after my shift ended, I went home and worked on my new brand. I taught myself advanced digital marketing. I studied supply chain management. I reached out to manufacturers overseas, negotiating prices, building relationships. I created new prototypes, better than the ones Celeste had stolen. I tested them, refined them, perfected them. No one knew what I was doing. I kept everything secret, working alone in my apartment until 3 in the morning most nights. I launched a simple website. Nothing fancy, just clean and professional. I didn't have money for advertising, so I focused on organic growth. I joined online communities, shared helpful content, built trust slowly. Then, 3 months in, I made my first sale. It was just one product, shipped to a stranger in Seattle. But when I saw that notification, I cried. Not from sadness this time. From determination. This was just the beginning. Celeste was everywhere online. She posted constantly about the brand's success, about luxury hotels, about networking events. Her Instagram looked like a highlight reel of someone living my dream. I had blocked her on everything, but I created a fake account to watch. I told myself it was research, learning what she was doing so I could do it better. Really, I think I just needed to see her. To remind myself why I was working so hard. Her follower count grew. She did interviews with small business podcasts. She was invited to women in business panels. Everyone loved her story, the young entrepreneur who built something from nothing. Except it wasn't from nothing. It was from my nothing. But something interesting started happening. In the comments on her posts, people occasionally mentioned other brands. Better alternatives. More ethical companies. And sometimes someone would mention mine. Have you tried this other brand? It's actually better quality. Each time I saw a comment like that, something fierce sparked in my chest. They were noticing. Slowly, quietly, people were starting to notice. I hadn't heard from Tyler in months. My ex-boyfriend, the one who had taken Celeste's side without even asking for my story. So when his name appeared on my phone screen, I almost didn't answer. But curiosity got the better of me. Ava, he said, his voice uncertain. I know I'm probably the last person you want to hear from. You are, I replied coldly. He sighed. I deserved that. Listen, I need to tell you something. I've been feeling terrible about what happened, about not believing you. I should have listened. It's too late for apologies, Tyler. I know, but there's something else. Something you need to know about Celeste. I sat up straighter. What about her? Can we meet? I have information, proof of what she did. I can't explain over the phone. I wanted to say no. Part of me wanted to hang up and never think about him again. But I needed to know what he had discovered. Tomorrow, I said. Coffee shop on 5th Street. 2 o'clock. Don't be late. I hung up before he could respond. That night, I barely slept. What did he know? What had Celeste done that even Tyler, her biggest defender, had turned against her? Tyler looked terrible. Dark circles under his eyes, wrinkled shirt, like he hadn't slept in days. He slid a folder across the table toward me. I found these on Celeste's laptop. She asked me to fix something, and I saw a folder labeled with your name. I shouldn't have looked, but I did. I opened the folder. Inside were screenshots of emails. My emails. Except they had been edited. Words changed, dates altered, entire paragraphs added that I never wrote. She fabricated evidence, Tyler said quietly. She made it look like you were stealing money, taking credit for her work. She even edited timestamps on shared documents to make it seem like she created everything first. My hands shook as I flipped through the pages. There's more, he continued. She manipulated our breakup too. Remember when you supposedly sent me that message about not loving me anymore? You didn't send that. She did, from your laptop when you left it at her apartment. I felt sick. The betrayal went deeper than I had imagined. Every argument, every accusation, every reason people had turned against me, all carefully constructed by Celeste. I looked up at Tyler. Why are you telling me this now? Because I was wrong. And because she's hurting other people now. Someone needs to stop her. I closed the folder carefully. She's going to pay for every second of this. I promise you that. 3 weeks later, I saw the announcement. Celeste was speaking at a women's empowerment summit downtown. The theme was lifting each other up, how female founders can support each other. I laughed when I read it. Actually laughed out loud in my apartment. The irony was stunning. Celeste, who had destroyed her own cousin to get ahead, was being honored as someone who supported other women. The event was expensive, $200 for a ticket. But I bought one anyway. I registered under a fake name, used my burner email. The summit was in 2 weeks. I marked it on my calendar and went back to work on my brand. My sales were growing. Not exploding, but steadily climbing. I had partnered with 3 small influencers who genuinely loved the products. I was building something real this time, something based on quality and trust, not lies and manipulation. But I wanted to see her. I wanted to look Celeste in the eye and let her know, without saying a word, that I was still here. That she hadn't broken me. That her biggest mistake was thinking I would just disappear. The summit couldn't come fast enough. I stayed in the back of the auditorium. The room was packed with women in business casual, all eager to hear from successful female entrepreneurs. Celeste was on a panel with 3 other founders. She looked confident, polished. When it was her turn to speak, she talked about authenticity, about staying true to your vision, about the importance of integrity in business. I wanted to stand up and scream. But I didn't move. I just watched. Then, during a story about overcoming obstacles, Celeste's eyes swept across the audience. And she saw me. I watched her freeze mid-sentence. Her smile faltered. For just a moment, fear flashed across her face. Then she recovered, stumbling slightly over her words before continuing. But she kept glancing back at me, like she couldn't quite believe I was real. After the panel ended, I didn't leave immediately. I waited in the lobby, knowing she would come find me.
She couldn't resist.
Sure enough, 10 minutes later, she appeared. She walked straight to the bathroom, looking back to see if I would follow. I did. She was waiting inside, arms crossed, trying to look unbothered. But her hands were shaking. What are you doing here, Ava? I smiled calmly. Just watching you lie. Like always. Celeste's face flushed red. You have no right to be here. It's a public event. I bought a ticket. You're trying to sabotage me, she hissed. You've always been jealous. You couldn't handle that I was better at this than you. I laughed. Is that what you tell yourself? That you're better? You didn't build anything, Celeste. You stole everything and put your name on it. No one believes you, she shot back. Everyone knows the truth. Your truth. The one you fabricated. She stepped closer, her voice dropping to a whisper. Stay away from me. Stay away from my business. You lost. Accept it and move on. I met her eyes, refusing to back down. I hope you're enjoying the spotlight while it lasts. Because it won't last much longer. I've been building something new, something better. And when I'm ready, everyone will know exactly who you really are. Her face went pale. You're lying. You have nothing. I smiled and walked toward the door. Before leaving, I turned back. See you soon, Celeste. I walked out, leaving her standing alone in that bathroom. My heart was racing, but I felt powerful. She was scared. I could see it. And that was just the beginning. I wasn't working alone anymore. Over the past few months, I had quietly built a team. First was Keisha, a web developer I met through an online forum. She had been screwed over by a previous business partner and understood exactly what I was going through. Then came Priya and Jasmine, two marketing specialists who were tired of working for companies that didn't value them. We met in coffee shops and co-working spaces, planning everything in secret. They believed in what I was building. Not just the products, but the mission. We were creating something ethical, something real, something that actually supported women instead of just talking about it. Keisha built a website that was sleek and professional. Priya developed a social media strategy that would launch us into visibility. Jasmine connected us with micro-influencers who aligned with our values. We worked late nights, testing products, refining our message, building our brand identity. Everything was ready. We just needed the right moment to launch. One evening, as we reviewed our final plans, Keisha looked at me seriously. You know this is going to get attention, right? Celeste is going to freak out. I smiled. Let's blow her out of the water. Celeste's brand was planning an anniversary relaunch party. I saw the announcement on her Instagram. Big venue, exclusive guest list, press coverage. She was going all out. I looked at the address and smiled. The event space was downtown in a trendy building I knew well. I made some calls. 2 days later, I signed a lease for the space right next door. It cost more than I wanted to spend, but it was worth every penny. My launch party would be the same night as hers. Same building.
Same time.
And here was the beautiful part. I created an invitation. Elegant, mysterious, exclusive. It promised an evening of innovation, networking, and the unveiling of a revolutionary new brand. I mailed it to several addresses, including Celeste's office. She wouldn't know it was from me. The invitation was designed to look like it came from a luxury networking event, the kind she couldn't resist attending. She would think she was being invited to speak, to network with other successful founders. She would have no idea she was walking into my launch, into her own exposure. I held the last invitation in my hands, imagining her face when she received it. This was going to be perfect. Everything was ready. The venue was stunning. We had decorated with elegant lighting, clean lines, modern touches. The products were displayed beautifully, each one with a small card explaining its story. My team had worked around the clock for 2 weeks straight. Keisha made sure the website could handle heavy traffic. Priya coordinated with influencers who would be live posting from the event. Jasmine handled the guest list, confirming RSVPs, managing the door. We had invited industry insiders, bloggers, small business owners, and carefully selected members of the press. People who cared about authenticity and ethics in business. The night before the launch, I stood alone in the empty venue, practicing my speech. My hands shook as I held the microphone. This was it. Everything I had worked for, everything I had survived, led to this moment. I thought about calling my parents, letting them know what was happening. But I decided against it. They would see soon enough. Everyone would. I went home and tried to sleep. I managed maybe 2 hours, my mind racing with possibilities, with plans, with the sweet taste of justice finally within reach. Tomorrow, Celeste would walk through those doors. And everything would change. I arrived 3 hours early. My team was already there, making final adjustments. I changed into my outfit, a sharp black suit that made me feel powerful and confident. Guests started arriving at 7. Industry professionals, journalists, influencers. They mingled with drinks, admiring the displays, asking questions about the brand. At 7:30, I saw her through the window. Celeste stepped out of a car wearing a designer dress, heels that probably cost more than my rent. She posed for photos outside, her smile bright and confident. She had no idea. She walked into the building, checked the directory, and headed toward our venue. My heart pounded as I watched from backstage. She entered the room, looking around with slight confusion. This wasn't what she expected. She scanned the crowd, looking for someone she recognized. Then she saw the stage, saw the brand displays. And finally, she saw me. I was standing near the front, watching her. Our eyes met across the room. The color drained from her face. She started toward the exit, but the doors had closed. The event was starting. I walked onto the stage. The room quieted. Celeste stood frozen in the middle of the crowd, trapped. I picked up the microphone and smiled. Thank you all for coming tonight. Let me tell you a story. Some of you may know me. I began, my voice steady. Most of you don't, but you might know my work. I clicked a button, and the screen behind me lit up with images. My original sketches. My first prototypes. Photos of me working late at night building something from nothing. 2 years ago, I had a dream. I wanted to create products that were ethical, sustainable, and accessible. I worked day and night to make that dream real. I showed more images, time-stamped documents, emails with suppliers, bank statements showing my investments. I had a partner, someone I trusted completely. We were supposed to build this together. The crowd was silent, listening intently. I glanced at Celeste. She was pale, her hands clenched into fists. But my partner saw an opportunity. She fabricated evidence, spread lies, and stole everything I had built. She took my work and put her name on it. Murmurs spread through the crowd. People started looking around, trying to figure out who I was talking about. I'm not here tonight to name names or point fingers. I'm here to show you something better. Something real. I paused, meeting Celeste's eyes across the room. Let me finish my story. I showed them everything. The original timestamps on my designs, months before Celeste was even involved. Voice memos of me explaining concepts, my voice clear and distinctive. Notebooks filled with my handwriting, my ideas, my vision. I showed them the fabricated emails Tyler had discovered, split screen with the real versions. The edits were obvious when placed side by side. The audience gasped. I showed them screenshots of Celeste taking credit for my work in interviews, articles, and social media posts. Every lie, documented and displayed. I lost everything, I said quietly. My reputation, my family's trust, my business. But I learned something important. You can't build something lasting on lies and theft. Celeste was moving toward the stage now, trying to stop me. But security stepped in, gently blocking her path. I had anticipated this. The truth always comes out. Maybe not immediately. Maybe not easily. But eventually, reality catches up with deception. I clicked to the final slide. My new brand, my new products, my new mission statement. So tonight, I'm not just launching a company. I'm reclaiming my story. And I'm inviting all of you to be part of something built on truth and integrity. The room erupted in applause. Celeste pushed through the crowd and ran out the door. I watched her go, feeling nothing but relief. I had told my truth. Finally, the launch exploded. Within an hour, my website crashed from traffic. Keisha worked frantically to get it back up while orders poured in faster than we could process them. Influencers who attended the event posted photos and videos, sharing my story with their followers. The hashtag Ava was first started trending on Twitter. Articles appeared online within hours. Business bloggers wrote about the stunning revelation at a product launch. People shared screenshots of my presentation, comparing my original work with Celeste's stolen versions. I watched it all unfold from the venue, surrounded by my team, feeling overwhelmed and vindicated and terrified all at once. Journalists asked for interviews. Industry leaders wanted to connect. Investors reached out, interested in supporting my growth. By midnight, we had sold out of our entire first production run. Keisha set up a waitlist that grew to over 5,000 people within hours. Priya's phone wouldn't stop ringing with partnership opportunities. This was everything I had worked for. Everything I had dreamed of during those lonely nights in my apartment, wondering if anyone would ever believe me.
They believed me now.
The truth was out, and there was no taking it back. Celeste fought back hard. The next morning, she went live on Instagram. Her face was blotchy from crying, her voice shaking with emotion. "I'm devastated by the lies being spread about me," she said to her followers. "Someone I once considered family has launched a vicious attack on my character." None of what she said is true, but the comments section turned against her almost immediately. Then explain the timestamps. Why would she lie about this? Your story doesn't add up. People who had worked with Celeste started coming forward. A graphic designer she had hired shared stories of unpaid invoices. A former intern talked about verbal abuse. A supplier revealed she had stolen designs from their catalog. The internet was relentless. Within days, Celeste's brand lost its biggest sponsor. Stores that carried her products pulled them from shelves. Event organizers canceled her speaking engagements. Her Instagram comments became so hostile she had to turn them off completely. I didn't say anything publicly. I didn't need to. The truth was speaking for itself, louder than I ever could. My mother called me 3 days after the launch. She was crying. "I'm so sorry, Ava. We should have believed you. We should have listened." For the first time in months, I felt something like peace. The call came 2 weeks later. Unknown number. I almost didn't answer, but something made me pick up. "Ava Reyes?" A man's voice, professional and smooth. "This is Marcus Webb." My stomach dropped. The investor who had kicked me out, who had believed Celeste's lies without question. "I've been following the news," he continued. "I saw your launch. I saw the evidence you presented. I owe you an apology." "Yes, you do. I'd like to make it up to you. I want to invest in your new company. Significant capital, full support, whatever you need to scale quickly. You've proven you have the vision and the integrity I should have recognized from the start." I was quiet for a long moment. Part of me wanted to say yes. His money would solve so many problems, would let us grow faster than I had imagined. But another part of me, the part that had rebuilt myself from nothing, knew better. "I appreciate the offer," I said carefully, "but I'm going to decline." "Excuse me?" He sounded shocked. "You already made your choice, Marcus. You chose to believe lies over evidence. You chose to protect yourself instead of seeking the truth. I won't let you choose again. I'll build this company my way, with people who believed in me when it mattered." I hung up before he could respond. My hands were shaking, but I was smiling. That felt better than any investment check ever could. She showed up at my office on a Tuesday afternoon. I had just finished a meeting with a manufacturing partner when my assistant buzzed me. Someone's here to see you. She says it's urgent. She won't leave. I knew who it was before asking. Celeste walked into my office looking nothing like the polished entrepreneur from Instagram. Her hair was pulled back messily.
No makeup.
Eyes red and swollen. Ava, she said, her voice breaking. Please. We need to talk. I gestured to the chair across from my desk. She sat down, hands twisting in her lap. I lost everything, she whispered. The brand is done. My apartment lease is ending. Even family won't talk to me. I have nothing left. I didn't say anything. I just watched her. I'm sorry, she continued. I know that doesn't fix anything, but I'm sorry. I was jealous of you. You were always the smart one, the creative one. Everyone loved you. I just wanted something that was mine for once. Tears rolled down her cheeks. Please forgive me. We're family. We grew up together. That has to count for something. I let the silence stretch between us. Finally, I spoke. I forgive you, Celeste. I do. Holding on to anger only hurts me, not you. She looked up, hope flickering in her eyes. But forgiveness doesn't mean I trust you. It doesn't mean you're welcome here. You made your choices. Now you live with the consequences. Her face crumpled. I stood up and walked to the door, opening it. Goodbye, Celeste. She left without another word. I watched her walk down the hallway, shoulders shaking with sobs. Then I closed the door and went back to work. 6 months later, I stood in my new office building. Not a rented space. Not a co-working area. My own building, with my company name in steel letters above the entrance. Inside, 30 employees worked in a bright, open space. Product designers, marketing specialists, customer service representatives, warehouse staff. We had grown faster than I had imagined possible. My name was on everything now. The products, the packaging, the trademark registrations. No one could take credit for my work ever again. I started a mentorship program, working with young women who wanted to start their own businesses. I taught them about protecting their ideas, about trusting their instincts, about building something real instead of something that just looked good on social media. My face appeared on magazine covers. Business podcasts wanted interviews. Universities invited me to speak. But my favorite moment was smaller, quieter. I was going through old files one night and found the original video pitch Celeste and I had made 2 years ago. We were sitting side by side, excited and hopeful, talking about changing the world together. I watched the younger version of myself, so naive and trusting. We made it, I whispered to that girl on the screen. Not the way we planned, but we made it. And this time, no one could take it away from me. My cousin stole my dream. She fabricated lies, destroyed my reputation, and took everything I had built. She turned my own family against me. She almost broke me. Almost. But here's what she didn't understand. You can't destroy someone who refuses to stay down. You can't steal from someone who keeps creating. You can't silence someone who knows their own truth. I rebuilt from nothing. I worked twice as hard, learned twice as much, and built something twice as successful as what she stole. I invited her to my launch party because I wanted her to see what she could have had if she had just been honest. If she had been a real partner instead of a thief. Today, I'm building an empire. Celeste is starting over, hopefully learning hard lessons about integrity and consequences. I don't think about her much anymore. Sometimes I see her profile online, trying to rebuild, posting about second chances and learning from mistakes. I don't hate her. I don't even feel angry anymore. I just feel free. Because the best revenge isn't destruction. It's success. It's building something so authentic and powerful that no one can question whether you earned it. It's walking onto stages, accepting awards, mentoring others, and knowing that every single thing you have, you built yourself. That's how I made her regret ever underestimating me. Not by destroying her, but by becoming unstoppable.